Periva Sharanam, Daivathin Kural, Book 6, Sahasranama Sottugal, The Treasures of Sahasranama. If you have an objection to the fact that our Acharya seems to have copied or borrowed ideas from Lalita Sahasranama in writing the Saundarya Lahari, I would look at it as his greatness and humbleness only, and not as plagiarism. Had he filched the ideas from some unworthy source, it could be considered as taskaram, meaning stealing. But he has used a source well known to all Sri Vidya Upasakas and rather famous as an original. To lift from such a source can only be considered as an expression of his genuine respect for the source material. Evidently, he feels that you cannot improve on perfection. To prove the high reach and originality of imagination, we need no more proof than his descriptions in Saundarya Lahari. In his write-ups about Shiva, such as Keshadi Padanta and Padadi Keshanta Varnana Stotras and Vishnu Padadi Keshanta Stotra, he has virtually outpoured with a cloudburst of original ideas as only he is capable of. So, if he had wished so, he could have come out with a lot of original ideas in his descriptions of the beauty of Ambal. But instead, if he has made use of Lalita Sahasranama, it is only indicative of his genuine love for that original and wished others also to adore and admire it equally. Thus, from the human angle, we can interpret and understand this interpolation of ideas from Lalita Sahasranama into the Saundarya Lahari reasonably. Or, considering the avatara of our Acharya, we can comprehend the logic on a further higher plane. Who is our Acharya? He is a combined avatara of Ishvara and Ambal, isn't it? So our Acharya is not a different entity from Ambal or Ishvara. Who has authored the Lalita Sahasranama but Vasinyadi Vakdevatas, isn't it? The power of their ability and authority are evolving from Ambal only, so even if you consider it from the copyrights angle, it is all hers after all. She is said to have told the Vasinyadi Vakdevatas to sing her praise for the sake of universal well-being. Not only ordered them, but also enabled them by her visual power of Kataksha. This has reference to shlokas 28 to 31 and 38 of the Purva Bhagam of Lalita Sahasranama. So it is all her power and right in the absolute sense. Then she herself takes avatara as her Acharya, authors, composes and writes the Saundarya Lahari. Thus, there is no plagiarism whatsoever in lifting any of the words or ideas from Lalita Sahasranama and using them in the Saundarya Lahari. Suppose you have a garden in which you have different varieties of mango trees. Now, if you take one small plant of mango and make a cut in its branch and attach the branch of another variety of mango, it is known as grafting and there is no illegal activity there. Inasmuch the same way, towards the end of Saundarya Lahari, our Acharya tells Ambal, Tvadiyabhivakbihi, to mean that it is all in your words. In the Gita, Sri Krishna Paramatma has borrowed phrases, sentences and ideas from the Upanishads quite freely. In fact, Bhagavad Gita is considered as the essence of the Upanishads. In the beginning, Shruti mantras were only the Lord's breath, as it were, and then it was He who caused them to shine through to the Rishis and Munis. They are all His to present where He pleases, as He presented them to Arjuna as the Gita. Similar is the case here too, where our Acharya, who is the embodiment of Ambal, made use of his own treasures that were brought out earlier as Lalita Sahasranama and referred them at various places in the Saundarya Lahari. Periva Sharanam.